I am Jeffrey Rowe Kohut. This is my Potter's Journal for June now 2025. In today's video, I will walk you through the steps you don't always see in the videos. From bisque, greenware actually, through bisque and the glaze for the ring baker. Now some may say it's like a bundt. No, bundt, trademark patented term, but we came first. The potter came first. Now, if you're Slovenian, this is the potica or nut roll baking pan. It's a national identity pot, but anybody can bake anything in it. I'm getting ready for Slovene Fest. I'm going to try to look more the part there this year. I have got the polka shirt with the vintage like accordion on it. I've also made some polka pots. So sgraffito on them. Maybe next week I'll show this in the video. For now, let's see what's going on in the studio today. Here's where I did get some extra in here. If I would have just put the pie plate inside of the ring baker, it might have sunk down in during expansion and contraction of the firing and got stuck. So I put these little plates that go underneath the berry colanders in there. To allow a little movement. And then here, to not waste space, first we laid, and in the bisque you can do this. Let's see if there's any warping. I think most of the movement comes after the bisque, and there is a little bit. Other people have done that, serious potters, and so I thought I'd give it a try. We'll see if it straightens out in the glaze fire. And then down here I put some garlic grater plates. I would have rather stacked something upright through here, but I just didn't have anything, and I was not going to waste any space. Now these, since this is sometimes a little taller or lower than this, I can't really stack them one on top of the other, and it doesn't fit inside the bottom one. And I don't want to put shelves up. I put these in here to raise it up just enough to stack them one on the other. So a little bit of creative firing, and it didn't crack or anything because I was worried about maybe stress. And those big ones are huge. That this is a 17-inch kiln. Some of the reason why, you're not supposed to see this. I really fired this empty. I had nothing to put down there. Some of the reason why I know you may fire an empty kiln is because a lot of hobbyists only found a giant kiln cheap, whereas I only keep finding these little hobby 17-inch kilns cheap. A water-based wax resist is what I use to keep it from sticking on the bottom. I keep it in a jar that I can, after the big one, that I can put a lid on. And if it does, it is water thinnable. You can add water, or sometimes I just take a mister if I'm working out in the sun, which I don't do. And usually I would set this where the camera is. Now here's the thing again. Sometimes the middle is taller than the outside, and in this case it is. So I have a mat here that was originally insulating packaging. And you can do this on a turntable if you have one big enough. I'm going to use a potter's wheel here. There's a little dot in the center of my wheel that helps to center pieces, and we just put the wax. I have a beveled edge on the bottom of this. I wax the entire beveled edge, and I wax down generously in the inside that the bottom's not waxed, or the bottom is not glazed, so no reason to bring it down the glaze to the bottom and take any chances. On very special pots, I have put glaze in the signature and on the date. And then, washed it off except for down in the grooves. So, on very special pots. And since I number, at this point, the potica pans, this one's number 82. I'm looking forward to getting to 200 so that I can say, literally, I have made hundreds of these. And then I still put the wax over because I'm going to glaze these yet, and I don't want the glaze to stick to the bottom. No. I do put these up on stilts, so there's not really any chance of it sticking where the signature is. There's not that much glaze there anyway. Okay, somebody wanted to see this once. How do you glaze? The big pans, they won't fit in a bucket. So you need a pan, and they go in, okay, one way, and, oh no, there, good, we got the center, I don't know, and out the other. I do use dipping tongs. We missed a spot right there somehow. And now my hand has got glaze on it, but okay, we need to clean off the bottom. The bottom was waxed. So, and we'll just line these up here. I don't have a studio with any room, okay, to do anything. We make Christmas wreaths in here. The rings in December, November, the rings are still on the other side. Okay, and these were already waxed, stacked one on top of the other, so I have a little piece of paper between them so that the wax doesn't rub off on the, doesn't run off. You know, I'm not sure that that center would glaze, except for creating a bit of a... I don't have quite enough glaze anymore in this pan to do this. So that's another thing on the to-do list now. Mix up some more glaze. There could be another way of doing this that might mean I won't be able to glaze the bigger ones, but okay, this one I'm going to do blue. I'm going to do an odd one in blue. I don't know. You know, to get that center, maybe get this in the right hand. Maybe if we do the top first and then do this part. Oh no, it's not getting in the inside. Oh, yeah, maybe we can glaze the big one. All right. Oh. What's going on in the studio today? What is going on in the studio today? Okay. So, did you ever want to ask that question? When I say, what's going on in the studio today? Oh, now a big one. Does it even fit in there? Okay, so I've never done it this way before. This is all new. Oh no, are we going to get enough glaze on the inside of this thing? Okay, so, and now where my hand touched it, this is all in the making. Oh no, we got to splash it up on the middle. There's a little spot I missed. You know, and I am going to have to touch it here because this one is a big one. And the tongs could end up just breaking the greenware. Oh, wow. This is a big one. This is a big one. I've got a couple places to, okay, clean up on the lip. Now, where are we going to set it? There's no more room here in the studio. We will put it right here. Yeah. What's going on in the studio today? Okay, somewhere I just moved a brush that we can, okay, touch up the places where our fingers were touching. And we may need to do that again. One thing, this glaze is fine being thick and thin. It's stable. But, could you imagine doing a layered glaze on one of those things? What's going on in the studio? Interesting. Last year I had a technique where I just put these in a bucket of glaze like that and out the other side. But this year there's not enough glaze. So the first one was a problem, but then I worked it out. And first I have to do the inside bottom of that, because if I don't, it doesn't get hit with the rest of this. And then I need to do that spike in the center, but I need to get all sides of it. So I will start here and turn it to get the other side, and then and then I have to put it in and spin it like that. And oops, a little bit sloppy this time. Okay, and where my fingers are, I will come back and brush a little bit on there. I've on smaller pieces, I've just dabbed the glaze on with my finger while it's all still very wet, and I guess maybe that could work with the big ones too. But it's a little more complicated than a small piece because there's an inside and an outside. But the dabbing actually gets it the right thickness, where the brush you need 3 coats. And even though waxed, a little bit of glaze does stick to the bottom, so I take a fairly wet sponge and resaturate the side where it seems to be a little thicker, and then on the bottom. And that's soaked in, so now drier sponge to clean it off. And I like a nice clean edge. And there's a little spot I missed getting it saturated, so we can scrape it off. Okay, and then since the sponge was slightly damp, we did kind of just move the glaze around, this time a much drier sponge, to get it all cleaned off. The cone pack, okay, a little bit of clay. Roll it out into a short fat coil. Okay, the cone leans that way, so we'll position it so that it'll fall into it. Push it into the cylinder. Okay, 2 fingers back here to support it there, and a thumb there. Down. Okay, so we're pushing back and in to make sure it is nice and compact, and it is a work of art in itself. We have got the sitter cone, and we will place it between the rod and the 2 lower pieces. And when that melts, okay, it will drop. And this is the witness cone. We place that in front of the port. And this bottom shelf especially needs some work. I have got these little stilts. These are, I think, from Commercial Ceramics. I don't know how I got them. I think they came with the Kiln. So I put those down on the bottom and set the pot on them, because I can't it's just too valuable a piece, too much work in it to accept it's sticking to the shelf. And then if you nick the glaze off any place, take a brush and patch it back on. Okay, the space around that is just about right for a berry colander and a mug. And it looks like probably 2 of them over here. I've got these little free manual kilns, anywhere from free to $150. I don't know why they call it a manual kiln. It's automatic. Okay, so when the cone melts inside, it causes this to rise, allowing this to release and come down here, and that shuts it off automatically. There are 2 controls. First, I will put the bottom one on, and an hour later I will put the bottom on medium, and the top on low, and I will repeat the process until high, medium, and until finally they're both on high. The idea is, okay, heating up the bottom of the kiln a little bit faster. And there is that satisfying electric kiln hum, not quite the same as the glow and the roar of a wood kiln. I always do it at a certain time each day, getting them both on high at 9 o'clock, so I know if something didn't happen at a certain time in the afternoon, it is time to check the witness cone. Now, the grandfather on my mother's side, not Slovenian, did play the accordion. My grandmother on my father's side, Slovenian side, always wanted me to learn to play the accordion. I think she'd have liked this too. She always talked about Slovene Fest back in the 80s and 90s. So now it's my turn. I paid no attention to her back then. But now it is my turn, and it's fun becoming the Slovenian potter there. I do have the Slovenian potter t-shirt ordered. Hopefully it'll arrive before the show. So stop back and see what's going on in the studio next week.